Okay. Hello. So I think now we should start with the class, right? Uh, so before we start with the class, something about Unacademy learning app. You can download it from Play Store, right? You can download it from the Play Store, and after some initial registration, like your mobile number, your email ID, some those basic of the things, you can get all the benefits of this learning app, right? In case the Unacademy learning app, whenever you are starting with that, it asks for any password or any code, then you can simply write this code. Okay. So whenever the app is asking for any code, you can simply use this code Amit Yadav Foundation, and by using this code, you would be able to access to all the free material which is available to you on the Unacademy Learning app. Right? This free material comprises of special classes, including those classes which are already recorded and those classes which are upcoming. Along with that, you can go with all the uh, test series which are free for you and all the quiz. Okay? So all these things you would be able to access when you use this code Amit Yadav Foundation. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of having this learning app? Although we are teaching your YouTube channel also, but there are more benefits of using this learning app, particularly if you, along with that, you are having that plus subscription. And we'll talk about it later on also. First, you would have the structured batches with top educators. Secondly, batches would be language specific, that is in Hindi, English, and also bilingual batches. But if you are not having any specific problem with English or Hindi, then personally I would suggest you to go either for English medium batch or for Hindi medium batch as per your comfort level. Why? Because in mains examination, you have to write in a particular language only. So better work on your language, whether it is Hindi or English whatsoever. Then late night batches are there for working professionals as well as 2 year batches for undergraduates. 100% syllabus coverage, vast range of optional subjects. Almost all the popular optional subjects are available on Unacademy. Then prelims test series with evaluation along with mains test series with evaluation, so that you can know that in what topics you have performed well, what are your weaknesses, that SWOT analysis can be there. So that means in the initial hours before your exam, you should not waste your time in revising those things which you already know very well, right? So those are the specific benefits of this. Then dedicated doubt clearing classes are there. I'm taking batch in plus fourth, and that's why I can tell you that every third or fourth class, that is a special doubt clearing session. Then daily current affairs practice, essay writing, which is very crucial for scoring marks, because I personally believe in two papers you can score exceptionally good mark. One is your optional, because in the rest of the GS papers the scope is not very much. One is your ethics paper, and third is in your essay. These three papers you can score very well, along with your performance analysis, sectional quizzes for some particular portion of your syllabus, and obviously with interview preparations. All these things would be there. If you want to take a subscription for Plus, then you are having two choices. First is Plus subscription, and second is Plus Iconic subscription. Right? In this Iconic, you would be having the benefit of having a personal mentor who would guide you through, means making a timetable, answering your queries, and all those things. And throughout the journey of UPSC, this personal mentor is going to help you. This you would get only in that Iconic plan and not in that Plus. In Plus, however, in Plus, you would be able to access to all the classes of all the educators, top educators, and all the batches. Whatever is going on the Plus platform, you would be able to access to that, including the recorded classes for that particular time period for which you are having that Plus subscription, right? Whenever you are taking Plus subscription, you can code Amit Yadav Foundation. So already discount is there, but above the discount, you can get 10% instant more discount on your build amount when you are using this code Amit Yadav Foundation. Okay. So this is for Plus subscription for 12 months. It is 49,500 for 24 months. It is 72,000 for 36 months. It is 90,000 rupees. Now, as I have told you about iconic subscription also, so you can use my code if you are going to take that iconic. These are the charges for iconic, right? So these are the charges. You can go through them whenever you can download the app. And so here you can see for 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, and 36 months. Similarly, here also for 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, and 36 months. For 6 months, it will be 4,500, which is quite costly. So better if you go for 24 months if you're in final year or undergraduate, or for 12 months also you can go, because here it becomes very reasonable. Now see, if you're going for 24 months, then it is this much amount, 2700 per month. Now this 2700 per month, it comes out to around 90 rupees per day, which by any standard is a very reasonable cost when you are having classes from 7 in the morning to 12 in the night on that platform, and that means application. And on YouTube, as I know, on YouTube the educators are starting their classes as early as 5:30 or 6 in the morning. Okay, all that you can go. In any of the case, whether you are going to have this or this, you can use this code and you would be having 10% extra discount over your fee. Sorry. So let's start with the topic. I think I am having some comments here. Good evening, Anshu. Very good evening. Sorry. So let's have a topic for today. That is the President of India. Now see, firstly, the Constitution of India, it provides for parliamentary form of government. Right? This I think you might be knowing. It provides for this parliamentary form of government, right? Now in this parliamentary form of government, it is basically characterized by the fusion of executive and the legislature, right? uh, your I mean, elections are being held for legislature. You can consider it as a Lok Sabha election. So elections are being held for legislature, and the single largest party having majority of the seats, or nowadays coalition like NDA, UPA, having the majority of the seats in the lower house, that is your Lok Sabha, they form the executive. Okay? So basically, it is different from the presidential model where we are having a complete separation of power between the legislature and the executive, as we used to see in USA or in America. Right? There, the elections for executive, that is different, जो भी हुए, and the elections for legislature, they are held differently. Yeah, they are chosen by the people. They are also chosen by the people. But in case if you see in parliamentary form of government, what is happening here? The elections are being held for legislature, and the single largest party, they are forming their executive. Secondly, it is characterized by the presence of a nominal executive and a real executive. Real one. Okay? A nominal executive and a real one. This you can call de jure, and this you can call de facto. Right? Okay. So two type of executive are there. Under Indian Constitution, in the union government, the president is the nominal head or de jure head of the government. He is the head of the state, while the prime minister with his council of ministers, they are the de facto or the real head of the state. Okay. So this nominal head used to work on the advice of this real head. In this form, the government used to function in parliamentary form of government, which you have taken from Britain, because it was implanted on our soil by Britain, and we were having experience in running it, particularly in between 1937 to 1939, when in the provinces the Indians were having their own government. Anyway, but that is a thing of history. Okay, so part 5 of the Constitution deals with the union government. Right? There are three chapters. First, dealing with executive, second dealing with union legislature, and third dealing with union judiciary. So this part 5 of the constitution deals with the union government. I think you might be knowing that there are three organs of the government like this. One is legislature, one is executive, and one is judiciary. So what we are dealing with now is with this executive part. Then chapter Chapter 1, that is Article 52 to having Article 78 of Part 5, deals with the Union Executive, that is the President, Vice President, Council of Minister, and the Attorney General of India. Now, see, a very simple question can be asked that which of the following is a part of the Union Executive. Okay. Now, how can we know? So, similarly, simply Chapter 1 is dealing with this Union Executive. And in Chapter 1, there are Article 52 to Article 78. Now, all those bodies which are mentioned here in this part, or which are having their provision in this part, they simply belongs to Union Executive. So, accordingly, the President of India, the Vice President of India, the Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister, and the Attorney General of India, that is the highest law officer, they all are the Union Executive. Now, चलिए. Now, starting with the topic that is President of India. See, in this single class, it would not be possible for me to cover whole of the topic of President, but here we are mainly dealing with the election of the President. What is the election process? How elections are being held? Because next year election is due for President, and most probably in next year UPSC Prelims, a question is going to be there from this part, election part of the President of India. Right? Now, see. Uh, Article 52 provides that there shall be a president India or of India. That means that when the constitution would be commenced, that is 26th Jan 1950, means at that moment also you need a president of India. You can't work without a president even for a single day. Why? Because all the decisions of the union government they are taken in the name of president. And if you are not having any president, then in whose name you are going to take the decisions? So for that purpose, Article 52 simply declares that there shall be a president of India. And in Constitution, the word shall means mandatory. ठीक है? चलिए. Thus, therefore, we have made provision that in the absence or vacancy in his office, the Vice President of India will assume office. Always do remember that the absence it is of temporary nature. He might be ill, he might have gone outside, he might be not available because of some other reason. While vacancy means that permanently he is not in his office. Right? So whenever the word absence came, it means temporary he is not available, and whenever the vacancy came, it means he is permanently not available. So don't get confused in your exam. Note that what the examiner is asking, he is asking about your absence or about vacancy. Firstly, secondly, when any person is performing the duties of president in his absence, then we say that he is performing the functions. Okay. Like suppose the president is not available and he's absent from his office and the vice president is performing his duties. Then we would say that the vice president is performing the duties of the president. But when there is vacancy in his office or he is permanently not available, then the vice president would become acting president. Okay. So always do remember this thing. Acting president would be there only and only when there is vacancy, not absence. In case of absence, there is only a person who would be performing the duties of the president. Chaliye. Then, if he is so, in the absence or vacancy in his office, the vice president of India will assume office. So that at any given time, we must have a president of India. Even if the vice president is not there, then what will happen? Then the Chief Justice of India would assume the or perform the duties of president. And suppose if Chief Justice of India is also not available, then the available senior most judge of the Supreme Court he would perform the duties or work like acting president, whatever be the case, depending upon absence or vacancy in the office of the president. Okay. Now moving ahead. Now, these are the names of our president which we have up till now. Please do remember them because in next year prelims, most probably you are going to have a question from these basic things only. So, first president would be Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who took office on 26th of January 1950, when the office of president came into existence with the commencement of the constitution. Before that, the office of president was not existing, right? चलिए. Then he left office on 13 May. Date is not important, but in 1962. Now, see, from 1950 to 1962, this period comes out to be around 12 years. But the term of president is only 5 years, so 5 plus 5 plus 2. That means first election was in 1952. ठीक है ना? On this date, he was elected by the members of Constituent Assembly only, not by electoral college, which is according to Constitution. So first, this was done. Then, when Parliament was formed, state legislature were formed. Then, in 1952, a proper election were there, and then the first term of Dr. Rajendra Prasad was started. Okay, so whenever question came that when was the first term of Dr. Rajendra Prasad, then it was in 1952 and not 1950. Clear? He was followed by Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, who was having only one term. Then Dr. Zakir Hussain from 67 to 69. Now, a simple question can be here: who was the first Muslim president of India? So, he was Dr. Zakir Hussain, who was the first president of India who died in office. So, again, the answer would be Dr. Zakir Hussain. Okay? Now, since the president have died, that means there is vacancy in his office, and when there is vacancy in his office, then simply means that now we need an acting president. Okay? Now, who would become acting president? The vice president would become the acting president. Okay, so we'll talk about it later on. Just now one more thing. Always do remember one very good question is there, that which of the Indian presidents had received Bharat Ratna award? So here the list is being given, and please remember them, learn them by heart, because nowadays the simple type of questions are more coming. Okay, sorry. So need of acting president is there. That means the vice president have to become the acting president. So the vice president at that time was Varahagiri Venkatgiri, and he became acting president from 3rd of May 1969 to 20th July 1969. Right now, on 3rd May he became acting president, and on 20th July he resigned. Why? Because election for new president needs to be there, and he was contesting election. Because see, as of now, a sitting vice president can contest election even without resigning. But at that time, that provision was not there, so he had to resign then only, because it was considered as an office of profit at that time. Then your Chief Justice of India, Muhammad Hidayatullah, he became acting president from 20th July to 24th August, when elections were over, and when election, Venkatgiri became the next president of India. He finished his complete term, this term. Then came Dr. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. Now there are two special things about Dr. Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad. First, he was second Muslim president of India, and most importantly, he was the president of India when emergency was imposed. So remember this fact. This fact is more important than the earlier one. Okay. Then, so he continued from 1969. Sorry, he continued from 1969 to 1977. That is for a term of 2 year only, and unfortunately, he passed away during his tenure. So he also became the second president who passed away or died in office. Obviously, there would be acting president now. So B.D. Jatti became the acting president, where he assumed office in 1977. Right? He remained there only for 160 days up till the election for a new this president. Next president we are having was Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. Now, always do remember one thing is very special about Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. He was the only president of India who who was elected Technically, election was not there. Who was elected unopposed. Okay. So he was the only president of India who was elected unopposed. No competitor was there, and that's why there was no need of election. He was simply declared as the president of India. So he assumed office in 1977 up till July 1982. One complete term was finished. He was followed by Gyani Jail Singh and one term, by R. Venkatraman, again one term, complete term. Shankar Dayal Sharma, again complete term. This part I am leaving because this part I think you can do by yourself only, right? Then Dr. K.R. Narayanan, complete one term. Then Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, popularly known as People's President, he completed this term. Remember it. Then Mrs. Pratibha Patil, 2007 to 2012. Then this is repeated one. Dr. Pranav Mukherjee, 12 to 17, and presently we are having Ramnath Kovind. He is from 25th July to 2007. That means on 25th, by this date, we must have a new president. Okay. So although we would not be able to cover these things in our class today, but let me tell you some important thing. Now, in order to as you know, the election of president and vice president, it is conducted by the election commission of India. Okay. Now there is a law which was made by Parliament to regulate the affairs related with the election of the president and vice president, and the name of that law is Presidential and Vice Presidential Election Act 1951. So this is the primary act according to which the elections are being held, and according to this act, the notification or the process of of electing the new president, it starts 16 days. That's a very interesting thing. It starts 16 days before the end of term of sitting president. Okay? So the process starts 16 days before the end of term of sitting president. That means this process would start around 12th or 13th of July 2022, and on 24th of or 23rd or 24th of July 2022, we would have our new president. Okay, we would have our new president. So today he is declared as elected, and the next day or next day he would be taking oath as the new president of India. So these are all the president. I think you would learn about that, remember that. Chali. Something more about an academy. There is a daily test series or daily current affairs test series going on the application. Again, I am telling you that is going on Unacademy application. In case it asks for a code, you can simply use this code, Amit Yadav Foundation. So all the free material it would be available to you. ठीक है चलिए it's completely a free test series for all of you. Then a number of free learning platforms are there on YouTube. Unacademy Articulate, there are free live classes, daily current affairs, UPSC CSE notification, book summary. Then on Telegram, you can again join Unacademy Articulate for free live classes notification, PDF material, daily free YouTube session update. You can please join this channel. It's good for you. You can join it. And the UPSC CSE special notifications, free test series notification, so that you can remain updated. बाद में ऐसा ना हो कि I never knew that. है ना, had I knew it, I must have attended it. तो ऐसा ना हो तो please at least join this channel. चलिए. Then, as I have told you, we are having an iconic subscription where you would be having a personal coach, live class environment, live polls and leaderboard, live doubt session, live interaction. All these things would be available there. In case any discount, you need any discount, or wherever your app asks for any code, you can use this code, that is Amit Yadav Foundation. Take a screenshot of this one. Okay, keep it safe for you. When you can use this, if you are using this simply, then you would get access to all the free study material. And if in case you are taking subscription, whether of 12 month, 24 month or 36 month, you would be getting a 10% extra discount. Already discount is there, but 10% extra discount will be given if you are using this code. So whenever if needed, please use this code. Chali. So we have seen the names of the president. Miss 52 simply says that there shall be a president of India, and that's why if president is not there, then vice president is there. If vice president is not there, then CGI is there. CGI is not there, then senior most judge of Supreme Court is there. But one or the other must be there in the office of the president, right? Sorry. Then Article 54. Just hold on. Hmm. Article 54 provides for the provision of election and the electoral college, while Article 55 provides for the method of election of the president. Now, see, these things you have to remember. These things simply you have to remember. These are very basic article. Similarly, one major confusion is there about the impeachment of president. Okay? Almost all of the students, whenever I used to ask that in which under which article the president gets impeached, they simply used to answer Article 61, which is not correct. The provision for impeachment is given in Article 56, which is about the term of the president, while the process of impeachment that is given in Article 61. Okay, so that you have to keep in your mind while solving questions, that whether your examiner is asking about the provision or he is asking about the process, because he is going to give you both the optionals. Now, suppose I give you a question that means as simple as that, like which article provides for the impeachment of the this president of India. Now, majority of you would answer Article 61. No, Article 61 provides for the process of impeachment. Provision means that president of India can be impeached, that is given in Article 56. Okay, so remember that difference. Chali. Here we are talking about elections. So Article 54 provides for the provision of election and who would vote, that is the electoral college, while 55 provides for the method of election, means how he would be elected. So three things are there. Firstly, 54 is providing this one. Firstly, 54 is providing that president of India or the head of the state of India would be an elected person, which means India is a republic. Because in preamble we are having this word republic. Now how we are going to become republic? When our head of the state is an elected person and not a hereditary monarch. So which article is making India republic? Very simple question can be there. Which article of the constitution makes India a republic? Article 54. Which part of the constitution declares India to be a republic? That is preamble. Okay, so whatever preamble is declaring, this Article 54 is fulfilling or is implementing that thing, that he would be an elected person. So he would be elected indirectly by the members of an electoral college. Now, electoral college means a special group which has been formed for the purpose of election. Means a group of voters who would vote in a particular election, that is called an electoral college. While 55 provides for the method. So according to Article 55, the 54 and 55, the President of India is elected by an electoral college comprising of, now see, first, the elected members of both the houses of parliament. That means your Lok Sabha plus your Raj Sabha. Now Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha, they have two types of members. One is elected and second is nominated. In Lok Sabha, see, in Lok Sabha, there are two nominated members belonging to Anglo-Indian community, which are appointed by the President under Article 331. So originally this provision was only for 10 years, but by successive amendments that have been changed, first it was made 20 years, 30 years, and by latest 104th amendment that have been made for 70 years. Okay? 80 years. Sorry. Then similarly, in Rajya Sabha, there are 12 nominated members which are nominated by the president from the fields belonging to art, science, literature, or social service. So these nominated members, they are not going to vote in the election of the president. Only those members who are elected, they are going to vote. First thing, this you have to remember. Secondly, elected members of the state legislative assemblies. Now here two things are worth noticing. First, the members of state legislative council, which you can find in some of the states like UP, they would not vote. Reason being, because in some of only 6, 7 of the states we are having state legislative council, and if we allow them also to vote, then these states would have a higher weightage in the election of the president. So simply they are not allowed. Secondly, in state legislative assemblies also, one member of Anglo-Indian community is nominated by the governor. I think this is under Article 333, 33 to 34. He is nominated by the governor. That's why he will also do not vote. He will also not vote. So he will vote only elected members of state legislative assemblies and only elected member of both the houses of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Thirdly, elected members of legislative assemblies of Delhi and Puducherry. Please do not include Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir by your own common sense. Ladakh तो खैर वैसे भी नहीं आएगा because since Jammu and Kashmir is having a legislative assembly, please do not use or include it by your own common sense. Let Parliament go for an amendment and let them add the word Jammu and Kashmir here. Then only include it. Otherwise, do not include Jammu and Kashmir by default or by yourself only. So these three combinedly they form the electoral group for the election of the president. Okay. So first is the elected members of Lok Sabha, not that Anglo-Indian, two Anglo-Indian members, they are not included. Secondly, all the elected members of Rajya Sabha, that means 12 nominated members are not included. All the members of elected members of state legislative assemblies, that means that one member belonging to Anglo-Indian would not be included. And third, lastly, the members of state legislative council are out; they are not included, and the elected members of legislative assemblies of Delhi and Puducherry. ठीक है so they all are forming this electoral college which is given by article 54. Now the president would be elected indirectly. Now see, wherever this word directly or indirectly came, your base should always be people of India. Now see, these people of India, they elect their representatives, and these elected representatives, they choose president. So you see, president is elected directly by the representatives and indirectly by the people. Yes, so ध्यान देना थोड़ा क्वेश्चन में ना so take that note that what he is asking indirectly by the people or by the representatives. In case of representative it is direct, in case of people it becomes indirect. He would be indirectly elected by the system of proportional representation. Now see, what is this proportional representation? This proportional representation, so in very simple, let me search for an eraser here. Do we have an eraser? I don't think eraser is there. Anyway, now see, यहाँ देख लेते हैं. This is your group of electors. I think it is readable for you in a mobile phone. And this is a group of elected. Okay. So in whatever proportion X, Y, Z, in whatever proportion these electors are there, in the same proportion these elected would be there. This is called proportional representation. For example, suppose in the voters, among the voters, 40% are Hindus. Then among those who are elected, 40% would be Hindus. Or as in case of Rajya Sabha election, suppose 50% 50% of the voters are BJP. That means 50% of the elected persons also belong to BJP. That is called proportional representation. But in the case of President of India, it is a misnomer. It is only for name, because practically, you see, suppose uh, suppose two candidates are there. One is X, one is Y. See, two are contesting for the election of president. X got 51% of the votes, Y got 49% of the votes. X became President of India. Now, where this 49% is represented, there is nothing like deputy president or junior president. Means this 49% is nowhere represented. So, this proportional representation word can be used only where at least person are to be selected. But here we are selecting only one. That means it is a misnomer. Actually, it is not working anyway. Then by single transferable vote, it is also a misnomer. Why it is also a misnomer? Because as we will see in this class only, as many candidates are there, every voter is going to give as many preferences. Suppose three candidates are there, A, B, and C. Then every voter has to give first preference, second preference, third preference. Some would give first preference to A, some would give first preference to B, some would give first preference to C, then some would give second preference to A. So that means one voter, each voter is voting for all the three. So there is nothing like single transferable vote. And third is by secret voting. Yeah, this is done. This is followed. He is elected on the basis of first first past the poll system or absolute majority. Now see, यहाँ हम देख लेते हैं और we can see here. Now there are two systems. One is first past the poll and second is first past the post. ठीक? Now in this first past the poll, the in order to win, you must get more than 50% of the votes. As simple as that. You need to get more than 50% of the votes. But in this case of first past the post, here what you need to get? Here you need to get more than others. As simple as that. Now suppose five persons are contesting an election A, B, C, D and E. A got 30%, B got 20%, C got 15%, D got 15%. How much it is there? And E also got 20%. I think this is 100. Now, A would win if the system is first past the post because he is having the maximum number of votes among these five. No matter he is not even getting 50% of the vote. This we used in our Lok Sabha and Vidhan Sabha. First past the post. But in the election of the president, we follow the system of first past the poll, where if you have to win, you have to get more than 50%, or that is 50% plus 1. This minimum is your electoral quota. This much vote you have to get, then only you are going to got is elected as the president. So please do remember first past the poll and first past the post. इसको आप ऐसे भी याद कर सकते हो. फर्स्ट पास द पोस्ट मीन्स देयर इज अ पोस्ट, अ पिलर इज देयर एंड whosoever उसके आगे पहले निकलेगा और गेट अक्रॉस दैट पिलर मीन्स before others, he is going to get elected. And do remember only one, because if you are going to remember both, you will get confused. Remember either this or this. The other one you would automatically remember. Okay, check. Now for the purpose of election of the president, we need to get the value of votes. Okay, so first we will see how the vote of an value of vote of an MLA, means member of a state legislative assembly, is deducted, and then how the value of a vote of a MP or a member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha is calculated. Now see, the formula is total population of the state upon total number of elected members in the state legislative assembly into 1 by 1000. Or if I am running short of space, that's why I'm writing in very small. So value of vote of a MLA is equal to total population of the state upon total number of elected MLA into 1 by 1000. Since population runs into crores and their number is hardly few hundred, that's why to reduce that value we divide it by 1000. Okay, clear? Now see, if the population of a state is more, like UP, if the population is very large, that means the number of MLAs in assembly is also large, because it is also because every state is allotted MLAs on the basis of population only. So if you see in case of UP, if UP is having a larger population, that means UP is also having a very big legislative assembly. So the ratio would be same. Or in case of Sikkim, you see the population is very small, but the number of members in the state legislative assembly, they are also very less. That means if you are going to divide 100 by 50, or you are going to divide 20 by 2, the ratio, sorry, 20 by 10, the ratio in each of the case comes out to be 2. So it was thought that the value of vote of an MLA would be same throughout the states, whether it is a smaller state or whether it is a larger state. Okay? But what happened at the commence after the commencement of the constitution? Initially what we start to do, after every census we used to see that in which state population is increasing. So if the population of a state is increasing, then automatically we were increasing the number of the seats in state legislative assembly. एंड इफ द पॉपुलेशन इज डिक्रीजिंग, हालांकि ऐसा कभी हुआ नहीं, वी आर इंडियंस, है ना, बट इफ द पॉपुलेशन इज डिक्रीजिंग देन द सीट्स नंबर वुड बी reduced. But it was not followed for a longer time. Initially 1 2 times we do it, but after that we stopped doing it. So in case of some of the state the population increases more, in some of the state population increases less, so difference of values can be found. As of now in practice we see that there is a difference in the values of votes of an MLA. The highest value of a vote of an MLA can be found in UP, and the lowest value can be found in Sikkim because of population. है ना? There is basically not because of population, but the reason is that population changed, but we do not update the number of MLAs in state legislative assembly, that remained constant. Means numerator is changing, this one. In each census this is changing, but this is not changed. So that was one reason. ठीक है. Now how is the value of vote of an MP calculated? For that purpose, the total value of votes of all the MLAs are calculated. Means it is a summation of value of votes of all MLAs of all the states and UTs, whatever elected are included, upon total number of elected MPs. Now, a member of Lok Sabha is also called a member of parliament, and a member of Vidhan Sabha is also called a member of parliament. So the common term is MP. Okay? From here, we would get the value of vote of one member of parliament or the value of vote of one MP. Okay? Now see. Now just have a look at the formula है ना, इसको समझना थोड़ा सा. Suppose the value of total vote of all the MLAs is X, ठीक है, and the total number of elected MPs is Y. क्लियर है? इससे क्या निकल के आया? वैल्यू ऑफ वन मेंबर और वन एमपी. सिंपली क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करो, you would get X equal to Y. That means that the value of votes belonging to states is exactly equal to the value of votes belonging to parliament. That means in the election of the president, the weightage of parliament and the states is exactly equal. That is because of formula. Okay, so remember that thing. Means there is a difference between value of votes in among the states, but among the states on one side and center on one side, it is exactly one and the same. Thus, there is to be a parity. Parity means equality. Thus, there is to be a parity among the states as well as among the states and the parliament. So, this is only theoretical. Among the state means it is only theoretical. It is not practically there is difference. Why? Because we have not updated this with the census. In order to be elected, a candidate must get electoral quota. Now, what is this electoral quota? Total number of valid votes polled upon 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. You can simply call it 2 plus 1. That is 50% plus 1. This much one person must get. That is also called absolute majority. सरकार बनाने को भी यही लगती है. Or you can call it first past the poll system. Whatever you need to call. Now, ठीक है. Now this population. So the constitution provided that this population of the state, in order to decide the population of the state, it should be of the last census. Population means population according to last census. But some states were performing very well in measures of family planning, while other states they were not performing that well. Means their population hmm, means their population keeps on increasing, while the population of some of these states was not increasing at that rate. So in order that these things would get stabilized, what we do by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, we froze this population according to the census of, means up till the next census after 2001. ठीक है. कहने का मतलब ये है कि what we did by 42nd Amendment Act, we said that भाई whatever be the census is now, that was of 1971, means up till 2000, जो भी बाद में इसके नेक्स्ट सेंसस आएगा तब हम पॉपुलेशन को चेंज करेंगे. तब तक पॉपुलेशन हमारी वही रहेगी जो अभी है. और 76 में कौन सी पॉपुलेशन थी? अकॉर्डिंग टू द सेंसस ऑफ 1971. Again in 2000, Parliament did an amendment and again moved the date for 25 more years. Now that became 2020. 2026. Clear? So this population is total population of the state. This means the population according to the census of 1971. When it will be changed? It will be changed when next census will come after 2026, that is 2031. Up till then, whatever election or whichsoever whichsoever election of the president is there, okay, for them, for that purpose, we are carrying with the population of 1971 only. So please simply do remember that what is the means which population is there, the population according to census of 1970. now now article 71 says, okay, article 71 says that all the disputes relating to the office of the President and the Vice President shall be decided by the Supreme Court, whose decision will be final. Okay? Means all any dispute regarding the election of President and Vice President will not go to High Court. It is an original jurisdiction of It is an original jurisdiction of Supreme Court only. Okay, this case would be filed in Supreme Court and the decision of the Supreme Court would be final. That means Parliament cannot make any law, and by that law they cannot provide that the decision of the Supreme Court can be challenged in this court or that court. No. Whatever decision Supreme Court is given, that decision would be binding upon all the parties. Okay. No election can be declared void on the ground that there is a vacancy in the electoral college. Now see, suppose at the time of election, what happens? Suppose at the time of election, the Vidhan Sabha or your state legislative assembly of a state get dissolved. That means no MLA, no elected MLA is there from that particular state to vote in the election of the president. So on these grounds also, election cannot be declared as void. Even if there is vacancy, the rest of the MLAs would vote and the election would be considered as okay. It will be considered as good. Okay? Then elections Article 71 also provides that Parliament would make a law to regulate some of the topics or some of the aspects related to the election of President and Vice President. Using this authority, the Parliament had enacted Presidential and Vice Presidential Election Act of 1952. Right now, this is something about your presidential election, that who became the president by defeating by how much margin. So first president was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, who became the first president of independent India by winning. Now this was the margin, and I think this was the highest margin up till now against his nearest rival KT Shah, who got only these much of votes. So सबके तो याद करना possible नहीं है, but you can do one thing. You can remember this thing, and first rival also you can remember, that is KT Shah. Votes are not necessary, याद रह जाए तो ठीक, otherwise let it be. In second presidential election, again Dr. Rajendra Prasad won by defeating his nearest rival, that was Chaudhry Hariram. Rest of the names you need not to remember. You know, just remember this name only. Then in the third presidential election, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan won by this margin. It was more than that of Dr. Rajendra Prasad also. This margin by again defeating Chaudhry Hariram only. See the difference. 5,53,067, only 6,341 votes. And Yamuna Prasad Trisulia is having only 3,537 votes. Okay. Then in the fourth presidential election, Dr. Zakir Hussain, just remember the name. Now you need not to remember even these things. In the fifth presidential election, WBB Giri, just simply uh, remember this thing. Sixth presidential election, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmad, he won by this margin because it was Congress party's rule in the states as well in the center. Congress party was ruling and he was supported by Congress party. Then in the seventh presidential election, for the first time, as I told you earlier also, for the first time, a candidate who won election without contesting was Neelam Sanjeev Reddy. Okay? Why? Because there were 37 candidates and the nomination of 36 candidates was declared invalid. Only his nomination was declared valid. Although it was time of emergency, but In the eighth presidential election, Gyani Jail Singh, he became the election after defeating H.R. Khanna. Similarly, in the ninth presidential election, R. Venkatraman defeated V.R. Krishna Iyer by this much votes. Okay. In the 10th presidential election, Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma, uh, belonging to Congress, he won the presidential election in the 11th. So in rest of the election, do one thing: simply remember the name of the winning candidate. Okay? In the first election, remember the name of both the winning candidate, Dr. Arun Prasad, as well as the losing candidate, that was KT Shah. For rest of the election, you can remember simply the name of the winning candidate, except this last election, in which means this one. This one is important. First and the last, you have to remember Ramnath Kovind, former Bihar governor, BJP leader, and he won oppositions. Meera Kumar, who was supported by Congress and also an ex-president, former Lok Sabha. ठीक है चलिए so sorry former speaker. Then COVID, not COVID. ठीक है चलिए sorry COVID, not Cohen secured this is votes against Meera Kumar's, so margin was not that much. ठीक है? So first election, winning candidate was Dr. Ryan Prasad, losing candidate was KT Shah. Last of 15th presidential election, winning candidate was Ramnath Kovind, and the losing candidate was Meera Kumar. Next, we declare new one. Next year, we would be having our 16th presidential election. Now, one thing more. Last presidential election was just hold on. Yeah, last presidential election was 15th presidential election. ठीक? But Ramnath Kovind is which numbered president of India? These two things are now see. This one is extra, two is extra, this three is extra. He is 18th, 18th person to become the president of India. Remember this thing. So these are all various selection procedures provisions we have seen. Now, finally, Unacademy is announcing a new batch which is going to start on 30th of November 2020. It would be a 6-month batch for UPSC Prelims 2021. Okay, remember the date. It is starting on 30th November. Three batches are going to be started: one in the bilingual, one in English medium, and one in Hindi medium. Okay. They all would be 6 month batch with full service classes by top educators. Then prelims test series with answer that all would be given to you. PDF study material would be given to you. Dedicated doubt clearing session, as I have told you. Interview preparation would this I think would not be there because it is only for next prelims. Okay, so three batches are starting. One in and one in Hindi. The date is 30th November. तो ऑफलाइन को तो अभी कोई भरोसा नहीं है तो इफ यू पीपल wish you can join it to know more about these batches you can simply click here and it will take you directly to the link. चलिए. Now to unlock the plus experience for free, as I have told you, start learning from the best. Free special classes, free tests, free live quiz. For these things, what do you have to do? You have to download the learning app from the Play Store and use the code. Okay. Now, by using this code without any space, using this code, you would be able to access all the free material on the Unacademy application, that is special classes, test series, live quiz, and all that. Then finally, Unacademy is having a very good program that is called Unacademy Aspire. It is an all India free mock where you would be having your ranking, all India ranking. Okay? And as of now, second paper, that is CSET paper, is going on. On every 10th of every month, 17th, 25th, and 30th of every month, there are tests, or you can call it quiz. Those who are having rank in this test, top 50 ranker, they are going to have exciting prizes, which are really very exciting. and scholarships like fee discount and all that whenever you are going to enroll yourself in any course. So next batch is simply starting on 30th of November at this next test is starting on 30th of November at 10 a.m. You can simply enroll it into by clicking on this button enroll now. Okay. Now on 30th of November also three more batches are starting for 1 year. Earlier batches were of 6 months, they all would be of 3 year, and they would be for 2023 UPC examination. Means if you are second year or undergraduate, then you can go through them. You can click here to know more about these batches. Similarly, one batch would be purely in English medium, one would be in Hindi, and one would be bilingual. Features would be same, but except this earlier was 6 months. This would be 1 year starting on 30th November. Full syllabus coverage, classes by top educators, study material, test series, and all that. All those things would be there. Okay, so take note of that. Again, this is your subscription charges 49, 72, 90. But if you are using this code, that is the foundation, then you would be getting an instant 10% off on all these. This all the features. Any of your build amount any of your build amount, if you're using this code, you will 10% on this build amount. If you are using application from a long time watching free classes, then you must have some credit points. Those credit points will be adjusted in your fee as some more discount. So you can avail them also. Chaliye. So thank you very much for being in class. See you tomorrow same time at 5 p.m. with a new topic. Chaliye. Up till then, bye bye.